we leave the Flinders Peninsula, head past Adelaide, and pay a visit to the famous Barossa Valley to wine some drink. Well, here we are in the Barossa Valley. This is our fourth wine region.
Oh, really?
Around Australia.
Fourth.
Yeah, Yarra.
We don't have a problem.
McLaren Vale. We went to Langorn yesterday.
Yeah.
And here we are in the Barossa, in the heartland. And it's beautiful. Let's go and drink some wine.
And from the Barossa, we head down to the end of the York Peninsula to Edithburgh. It's a spectacular drive, and here's just a taste of what we experienced.
Just kidding. It's the most featureless and boring drive you could imagine, and this gets into one of the problems you face when exploring the country.
We had such an amazing time in the Flinders Peninsula that we assumed that York would be just as special, and it's really not. The vast majority of the landmass is barley fields, and most of the coastline is jagged rocks. Not much sand and strong winds for most of the year. If you're a fisherman, then it would be great for you, but not for us.
The tourism board of the area really hyped this place up, and that's a lesson that we've learned. Take their advice with a shot of seawater. However, there is a national park at the very tip of the peninsula, so we went to have a look, and it did have some pretty epic scenery.
After a couple of uneventful days in the York Peninsula, we hopped on our dog trolley and made the drive up to the famous Flinders Ranges for a couple of days, with a stop in the Clare Valley for some non-alcoholic grape juice. To be perfectly honest, we hadn't yet realized how little we were filming in some places, and we didn't actually film much in Clare, but we did get this. You're welcome.
Well, we're officially out of civilization, as it is being the case. As soon as we rocked up to this campsite, each of us were assigned about 5,500 flies. So that's been fun to deal with, but then things like this happen. Our first stop in the Flinders was a bushwalk to the base of the mountain to see some indigenous rock art, the first of its kind that we'd ever seen. It's difficult for us to understand what these paintings represent, but one striking and unmistakable image was that of the silhouette of the ranges. In the beautiful Flinders Ranges, we've been here for a couple of days, and we just pulled up to our campsite. We'll be here for 2 nights. I've just noticed from the campsite there's a ridge just up there. It doesn't look too hardcore. I'm going to try and climb it. So I think I'm about halfway up, but as the higher up I get, the steeper it gets. It's pretty gnarly, but it's even a pretty sweet view from here. The beautiful Flinders Ranges. There's our camp. An absolutely breathtaking, beautiful, beautiful spot that unfortunately has just been absolutely ruined by the flies.
Thing is, when as a non-Australian, every time you see Australian cliches or things in media like TV, videos, things like that, it's always somebody with a really thick accent, and you know, they're wearing their Kubro with the little corks attached to it, the little cork hat. And firstly, 100% get it now. Secondly, would wear it with the greatest of glee. The flies here were something else. And before I get those folks that say, you know, you're in the outback, what were you expecting? I was like, I was expecting flies. I was expecting a lot of them. But I thought the more I moved, or just it wouldn't be so bad, or that they wouldn't be constantly trying to land on my eyeball or burrow their way into my nose, even through the net that you have to wear over your hat. I struggled pretty bad.
But yeah, mixed bag with the Flinders. It's just such a shame that there's so many flies. They just ruin everything. And I know that some of you were kind of saying, oh, what did you expect? You're in the outback and there's flies. Like, you just gotta like deal with it. But you can't help but compare the places that have flies to the places that don't, where you don't have to wear head nets and you don't have to stay indoors and you don't have to find ways to mitigate them as a problem. This is an unbelievable spot, but to be honest, the camping here has been some of the worst that we've had in the whole country so far.
Maybe we came at the wrong time of year. You know, maybe we approached it wrong. I don't know. All I can say is I'm pretty excited to be leaving today. Pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, it's been really difficult to deal with them, and hence we've put up the awning room, which has actually been great. It's the first time we've used it since we've left Sydney. So what do you do when you're camping and the camping area kind of sucks and you don't know what to do? You bananagram.
I beat him all the time.
She never played bananagrams until she came to Australia. She literally, she played it for the first time within maybe a week of being here, and after about 2 rounds, she has smashed every single person she's played. Here we go. And it works an absolute treat. It's a great little space that you can just keep the elements away from you and just be comfortable. But then what happens is you basically stay in it all day. It takes longer to set up and pack down, so you're less inclined to go for a drive. It's an absolutely breathtakingly beautiful place, but really it's hasn't lived up to its expectations in my mind because of the problems that we've had to deal with. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. Everyone's got different opinions, and the Flinders is one of the most famous spots to visit on the Big Lap. But to be perfectly honest, it was okay for us, you know. That's the way it goes sometimes.
It was not okay for us.
There you go.
And that wraps up our time in the Flinders and this episode. Although it had its challenges, we were glad to have experienced all of it. The ranges really are a unique and spectacular place, and the wildlife was abundant and beautiful to see.
Next week, we're exploring the Peninsula, a wide variety of landscapes and places to explore. We hope you join us for the ride. Please remember to like and subscribe, and check out our Instagram. It helps us tremendously. Thanks, guys.